Yeah.
It's hard to be seen. It's over democratized, and then not, because YouTube will never list us near the top until we have 1 million people already following us. So we're being suggested to people that have already seen us. It won't suggest us to people. I want to see something new about artwork, about filmmakers, about people that it's impossible to climb that ladder in so many ways.
If I can choose between if I can choose between a film that I'm making where I have 40 trucks or 50 trucks and I block off streets and I have, you know, big tents and I have a big chair and all these people telling me how great I am and all this equipment, I can choose between that and field sketches where I'm working with an intimate group that I know really well.
I would choose
all
field
hands
sketches.
on and we're rolling in little trucks, and I'm taking the little one. I like it. I like this way of working. Now, I've had to learn how to do this as a survival tool, you know, because that bigger scale is not available to me. So, you know, I'm an opportunist in a way, trying to make sense out of a changing industry. I love what I'm doing, but I see I mean, Vince and I made a beautiful film. We had a lot of difficulty getting access to film festivals that I've played 10, 12 times in the past. Like I've had a lot of film festival experience, but in this current age, they're so inundated, you can't even get past the gate with a lot of these festivals. And I started to realize, you know, we have to take our work into the theater space, into the streaming space, in the same way, with the same philosophy that we're using to make the work. Because waiting around to be invited, to be asked, to be given permission, to be given the resources, here, be a good fellow and make this movie. Yes, we support you. This isn't going to happen. It's not happening. So you have to rethink filmmaking. And, you know, to my kids, the generation in their 20s today, I think you got to have thick skin to go into filmmaking, because it's a tough living. It's tough. It's not an easy living. It's way easier to do something else.
Yeah, I've interviewed a few young actors getting into it, a young filmmaker, and the optimism was fantastic to see. And my walking away was, I hope they keep that.
Yeah.
And they keep the optimism going, because it's a lot more work that I'm not sure that they saw coming, based on my interviews with established actors. Ben Emanuel, who you've both worked with, he was in this movie, correct? He gave me a knowledge bomb on how hard things can be on every level. And I loved his interview and learning that stuff, and then comparing it to the people coming up in this day and age, just trying to get noticed or to try to get a job where it matters to the next job even.
Well, Ben's an interesting example, because he runs an acting school as well as makes films and acts professionally. But he decided a long time ago, look, I'm not interested in doing, you know, working on terrible movies, working on scripts that don't speak to me, on roles that don't speak to me. I would rather pick carefully what it is I do with my craft and run an acting school. But the truth is that most of the work that young actors are going to be invited to do is, there's a lot of really terrible scripts out there, you know, and the airwaves are full of this kind of mediocre movies of the week, kind of, puffy Hallmark style television, you know.
It doesn't have all the keywords.
People love that stuff. Like, there's an audience for that stuff. What I know about myself is that I don't love that stuff, and I don't make that stuff.
I know, but you know what's interesting, Carl, is that you're talking about that, and you've also been talking about the access to marquee talent and the relationships that actors have with directors. And even when you're working, because that's how I make my bread and butter. Like, I'm in the service industry, and I make Hallmark films, and I make movies of the week, and I do little parts and features. But even that, even on that level, a director has no interest in talking to an actor before you're standing on the set. Like, if you reach out to a director, you'll never hear from them again, because they don't have the time. They're talking to everybody else. They're talking to the cinematographers, and they're talking to the gaffers, and they're talking to the location managers, and they're talking to the line producers. They're talking to everybody except the people that they're going to be collaborating with in front of the camera. And there is a disconnect in terms of the work, because if we were able to have those conversations, the scenes would be better, just off the hop, off the jump. By the time you step in front of the camera, you would already be at the next level. But nobody cares. Nobody's interested in it. It's like making a sausage. It's like making an egg McMuffin. It's the same thing.
Same thing every time.
But there still is remarkably a lot of great cinema that gets made. I mean, that's the kind of beautiful thing too, that you do, you know, you scramble around. Vince and I share lists all the time. Like, did you see this? Did you see that? You know, there's a lot of great work still being done.
100%.
Every year.
Oh, well, yeah.
We marvel at it, you know, but every film, I mean, even like hearing that The Brutalist was a battleground to get made, and that the director Brady Corbett, is that right? Corbett was struggled the whole way and was still like, what was he saying at the Oscars about how broke he was? I was just like, I thought that was incredible. You know?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah,
that was. I love hearing stories like that where like I'm gonna do it and hopefully you get behind me and we get it done. I wanted to circle back with you guys kind of on this. The 6 months that you spent, we've touched on this, we've talked about it a lot. Was it just you two, or how often did you have like most of the ensemble or the whole ensemble, or
we
were
got
you
everyone together
before you even shot? Okay.
We started with a group of 4 cast members. So it started with Vince and I just solo, and then we brought in Sarah Canning, we brought in June Laporte, and we brought in Ben Cotton. And what was, I mean, this is just an example of what the process is like. So because it was a small group, we started early days, we were reading scenes and talking about the scenes. And because we only had 4 actors there, I'd kind of read the narration and, you know, chat a bit. And the guys would read, Vince would read his part, which was the main character. So he had lots of stuff to do. But there's little characters coming and going. And so Ben Cotton was reading all the male roles in this one reading that we did. And we left the reading, and Vince and I went for a drink. And we were talking, you know, just disseminating, you know, how'd it go? What'd you think? And we both kind of went, you know, wouldn't it be great if Ben just played both those characters? Because he had this really lovely, very different approach to each of the characters. And this was not an idea that I had in my head working on the script, not even close. And it was a bit like born of the theater concept, you know, and in theater, actors often kind of play multiple roles, and there's an audience is intelligent and people can kind of track that stuff. And right. It was an idea, and we kind of ran with this idea. Now it sort of gave every actor who was central in the movie a couple of roles. And I hope it's not so confusing. I find it just really gratifying to kind of invent things that way with the people I'm working with.
That's what I'm vibing with myself right now. Like that, everybody came together. This idea came up. That's what I liked about being in a band in my old musician days. Yeah. It's a whole bunch of people, and we create, and then we have something at the end. You could call it a product. You can call it art. Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice.
Vincent, I know you got to leave in a little bit, and I did want to talk to you about one thing real quick. You've done a billion things. And I know you've probably dealt with enough sci-fi fan talk show hosts.
No, I haven't at all. Please.
I've got a question I don't think you've been asked, because you've been in everything. Stargate, Battlestar. I had the list in front of me. You know it. I don't have to say it out loud.
Yeah.
But the one thing you haven't done, the one franchise, you are a walking Comic-Con. You have not done Star Trek.
Gosh darn it.
No.
Why?
Star Trek. But it's not done here in Vancouver. That's the issue, right? Like, I mean,
I'll fly you down.
The new show is being done in Toronto. It's a hard get. And yeah, I mean, no Star Trek. I mean, like, I'm just open for business, Nathaniel. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm going to get you in. That's my personal goal.
Well,
you have to complete the quadfecta of all sci-fi. Right. You did Eureka. I've never interviewed somebody who's been on Eureka before.
I did Eureka, yes.
It was a fantastic show. But that's what was when I was researching you. I was like, I know that guy. I know I've seen it. And then all these, I'm like, everywhere. Like when I went through your IMDb, hundreds of listings. I'm like, yep, that one I saw. That one oh, he played that guy. Like it was just kept on going.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the service industry that we have here in Vancouver.
It's still great,
right? And I I mean, this is my sandbox, and I've chosen to be here because this is where my family is, and I love it, and it's a great part of the world, and it used to be a nice place to work, and now it's just more difficult. But yeah, no, any word that you can put into with the Star Trek people for me,
I know one so far. I know one.
Who's the one?
She does a voice on the animated series. Bonnie Gordon.
Oh, nice. You see, I mean, I worked with Simon Pegg. Like, I have a good relationship with Simon Pegg, and even he couldn't get me in the story. I mean, I guess he was holding that for himself. It was before his whole Mission Impossible thing. It was before he started dating Tom Cruise. So, I mean.
Oh, this Simon. He betrayed us all. He's never coming on the show now. Yeah, and I just because I was impressed with. I mean, I get the service industry, and you do a gig here and you do a gig there, but I had to comment on it and call it out. Just so many memories, and I wanted to ask you one thing before you take off.
Please.
What are you most recognized for that surprises you? Like somebody walks up and they say a line or ask you to repeat something. Like, what, you saw that?
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, by and large, it's usually the last thing that you did. So at the moment, a lot of people are talking to me about this show that I do that's on the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, and it's you'll see it down there at some point because it's an NBC Universal show, but it's called Allegiance. And
season 3 or yes?
We're going into season 3, and I play a bad man, and it's about it's about an Indo-Canadian young police officer in Canada, and I play this man that's kind of keeping her down and keeping everyone who's not my color down. So a lot of people are talking to me about that at the moment, but I don't have a catchphrase. I mean, a lot of people talk to me about Battlestar all the time, just because it was I guess a character that people,
and the fandom is rabid,
enjoyed, and it is rabid, yeah. But it's normally the last thing you did. People are just like, "Hey, aren't you that guy? Like, what were you? Are you an actor?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "What were you on?" And then you start naming things, right? And they're like, "No." And then you name another thing, and they're like, "No." Another thing, "No." And so then you just go, "Oh, fuck it." I mean, it's ridiculous. You tell me who I am.
It's always been my dream to get an actor who's done some big famous things and just talk to them about the one obscure thing that nobody ever talks to them about, and just grill them. What was it like being on set with Joe Smith?
Right.
To go on and just like watch the audience more than the actor. Like, what do you like? Maybe even include them in, but like the audience, like, why aren't you talking to him about Star Trek? Why aren't you like, well, I just really like this movie of the week you did in 1984.
I love it.
I think it'd be a fun interview.
No,
hey, but 100%. I want to get you out of here. I know you had plans, and I appreciate you staying. Unless you got more time.
I got to go to the theater, and I really appreciate you getting me out. And I have to tell you, what a pleasure! Like, the support means the world, and just a real pleasure talking to you guys. So thank you for everything. And I know Carl will sweep it up from here.
Just before you leave, just before Vince
5-3 Edmonton.
5-3 Edmonton. Yes.
Don't tell me anymore. I need to be surprised. Vince was nominated for the Best Actor Award for Field Sketches in our it's the BC Academy Awards. It's a British Columbia Provincial Film Awards called the Leos, and Vince just got a nomination, and we couldn't be happier for Vince.
And Carl,
congratulations! That's
for Best
awesome.
Director, and the film was nominated for Best Picture. So we're pretty thrilled.
Yeah.
You guys, let me, this is going to sound weird and wrong, but you're the best husband and wife team I know of, because my wife and I do that too. Remember that one time, but you did this.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and our wives know it too. But so thanks for all your support, Nathaniel. Great to meet you.
Great meeting
Zoom,
you.
And thanks for all the support.
Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for your time.
Bye.
Thanks. All right, now let's talk about him.
What a guy, right?
What a guy.
Yeah. He's a great guy.
Thank you so much, Vincent.
It's not easy to be like Vince moves very elegantly from the more journeyman roles, the character roles. Like he plays Mycroft on the new Sherlock Holmes thing.
That's huge.
Yeah, but
Mycroft is a big part of that
sometimes these
universe.
roles are really small. Sometimes he doesn't get a lot to do, and then sometimes it's much bigger. But he's always he always gives it all, But I think that every actor wants to be challenged, and
yes,
in these roles that he does and the work that it really pays the bills, doesn't always give you that kind of creative stretch. And it's really nice for him to be able to do both. But a lot of actors, they can't move easily between independent film and the kind of more commercial mainstream. It's very difficult for them. I always have this thing, I feel like, I don't know if you notice it, but when you watch stuff, I always feel like sometimes people's acting is showing. You know what I mean? When you're watching something, you watch them and you feel like you're watching actors.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Sort of like
even
they're
if you're
acting.
good, it's like you're an actor acting. You're not. I don't feel the character.
Like I'm less interested in actors than I am in characters and in people. And that's a trick. It's very difficult for not every actor. Ben Emmanuel is very good at that. He never sees acting. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. I when I was doing my research on him, I got the name and then I dug in. And I was like, I had some questions. Then when I was watching some of the films and clips and sizzle reels and all that, I was blown away by his level of acting. And having been doing this for a while, not super long, I don't want to make it sound like decades, but I always try to dig in and watch people and see their work and get to know their work. And very few people outside of Ben have made me go, this is next level. There was a young actor in Central Texas. He called it I can't remember what town specifically, but he called it the Texas of Canada. Right. And his intense acting, his ability to make me, there were two different shows in his one reel, and just the dynamic switch between, I'm like, this guy has something. Yeah. And I've talked with a lot of great actors and seen a lot of great things, but every once in a while you just see somebody, or they pick in the right roles to put in the reel. I don't know. Yeah. Where I'm just wowed. And Ben was one of the people as well.
Nice. Wow.
Hey, Leslie, congrats to Carl, Vince, and Field Sketches for all the Leo Award nominations.
Oh, that's our film award program, the Leos. Yeah. Anyway, so but it's tricky because these are very different styles of working.
Have a great one. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Be safe out there. Treat each other well.